a warm welcome to all of you to the launch of EntrepreNaaris. It is a project of complete passion created by Navya and myself, Madhura Das Gupta Sinha. I am the founder and CEO of Aspire for Her. And maybe I'll just take a few seconds to introduce Navya, and then she can introduce me. Is that all right, Navya?
Yeah, we're swapping.
Yeah. So, well, Navya really needs no introduction, so my job is very easy. She is, but what I'd really like to say is that she is the founder of Project Naveli, which stands for Women's Empowerment in many different ways. She's the co-founder of Ara Health, a very unique social healthcare startup. And she uses her voice to raise women's voices across several spectrums. Whether it is for period homes for women in Gachiroli, or whether it is as a generation equality champion with the United Nations. But that's Navya for you. And over to you, Navya.
A kind introduction, but I'll take some time to introduce Madhura to everyone. She has been a senior banker for the last 25 years. She studied engineering and also got an MBA, after which she decided, she had her banking, across Standard Chartered and IDFC, so she's a pro at that, but as a 50th birthday gift, she decided to gift herself Aspire for Her, which I think is such a beautiful story. And it's something that she's always wanted to do since she was 13 years old. So she realized at 50 that, I don't want to bank anymore. I want to work for women, and especially women in the workforce. And so she gifted herself Aspire for Her as a birthday present, and here we are today having her here partnering with me. I think it's a coincidence or not, but that's a little bit about Madhura.
Thank you for the introduction, Navya. So under ordinary circumstances, your path and my path really wouldn't have crossed, right? We would have gone off on our own different paths, and me in a very predictable corporate sort of a life, and you would have had your own path, right? Maybe people are curious to know as to how these two very different people got together.
I get this question a lot. They're like, how did you and Madhura really meet? And I'm not a banker, so how did you, cross paths? And I think it's quite a funny story. We both have somebody in common, someone who I call uncle and somebody who Madhura calls boss. And he actually introduced Madhura to me, saying that, she's doing some incredible work, which she is through Aspire for Her. And after looking at what, she was doing, we got onto a call, just to talk and understand a little bit more about what each of us were doing. And after which I realized that, this is something that we can definitely work on together. We may have different experiences and different paths and different work, but I think we can put those together to create something really unique and amazing. So that's pretty much how we met, and the story of how we got started is a little different, but I'm going to hand it over to Madhura to explain that.
Yeah, so, after this person and who we both really respect and admire very much sort of put us together, we then decided to see, what was the problem that we were actually trying to solve. And, I was just about starting Aspire for Her, and, I was very disturbed with a lot of gender data that was emanating from India, whether it's in terms of women's workforce participation, whether it was in terms of, the whole, in the global gender gap index. India's position in terms of economic participation was so poor. And, we felt that we could do better. And when I spoke about this to Navya, and she said, yes, I think we can do a far better job, and let's get together and do something together for women entrepreneurs. So in that very deep sense, I think both of us are women entrepreneurs who have had very different paths, but serendipitously our paths have converged. And today we both call each other and ourselves EntrepreNaaris.
Yeah. I love this name, by the way. I think kudos and shout out to Anuradha for giving us this absolutely genius name that none of us thought of before. I think it just captures everything that we're trying to build so perfectly. But yeah, I think like what you said about, why we decided to start this was a lot to do with, the current situation of women in the workforce, especially in India, and for us, especially in entrepreneurship. And women in entrepreneurship in India account for only 3% of the GDP in this country, which is a very, very low percentage. And, only I think 2% of equity funding raised in, 2017 went to startups that, have women founders. And I personally have a startup which is, all women founders, and especially in the healthcare space, actually only 8% of startups have female founders. So, I mean, I know that we've, discussed these statistics ourselves, and we were absolutely shocked about, the current, state of women in the workforce in India. And I know that, Aspire for Her has been doing a lot of work, around that. So why don't you tell everyone actually a little bit about Aspire for Her and what, you've been doing for the last 1 year?
Yeah, I think I'll do that. So, we started Aspire for Her with the whole mission to motivate women to enter and stay in the workforce. Now, that workforce can be, it can be the corporate world, it can be as an entrepreneur, it can be anything. We didn't really mind, because the numbers were so poor that we were quite happy with any sort of economic agency for women. And, as we were progressing, we realized that what really this country needs is a change in mindset. And we decided that we will work on a mindset change model. And there's a 5-point mindset change model that we actually work on at Aspire for Her. And that's the framework we use for all our communities. We want to use the power of communities and networks that give and take. So on Aspire for Her, you'll find a bunch of very senior women who are CEOs, CXOs, entrepreneurs. They've built their own businesses. They are our mentors. And on the other hand, there are a lot of members who come in and who actually get the value of their wisdom, the value of their mentorship. They have 1:1 mentorship sessions. We have business resources. We have learning opportunities. We have career previews just to showcase what the world can be like, what the future can be like for all women of our country. And there are so many wonderful career options out there. We have what we call a fantastic concept of peer community, entrepreneurial being a very important one among them. And what we finally want to do is lead everyone to what we call the 3E, either entrepreneurship, employment, or education. And we feel that once a woman is in any one of these 3E, we're confident that they will actually be financially independent, they'll drive towards that, and they will have economic agency. So that's what we do at Aspire for Her. And EntrepreNaaris was, as Navya said, the brainchild of Anuradha from the fantastic Think Not consultancy, and she actually helped. We went through many names. We went through a lot of trauma. We went through many names.
And we obviously cannot forget Deepika, who is
absolutely
the backbone of this. She has, she's leading this project, this community. She's done some awesome work in getting together the different partners, the resources, and honestly, I enjoy our team meetings every week when we speak and discuss this. I just feel it's something that I wish I had when I was starting out, because I remember, and this comes to challenges that both of us may have faced in our journey as entrepreneurs. And I wish that I had a community like this, because I remember in our beginning stages of building the startup, we were scrambling, looking for developers and legal advice and registration and mentors and just financial help. And I really wish that there was one collective space where I could find all of these things, and at the same time even get to interact with other women founders, learn from them what their challenges are, what their struggles have been. And I think especially as a young girl entering this crazy space of entrepreneurship, I think one of my biggest challenges was that, I wanted to be taken seriously, and I didn't know if that would necessarily come with, being 23 years old and having just graduated. We've had, phases where a lot of people have told me that, you don't know what you're doing, you're so young, and very ageist comments about, how can you know how to run a business? And I think that even today I tell those people that I don't know how to run a business. It's something that I'm learning every single day, and that's a part of the journey. No one's perfect. No one can walk into this career path knowing absolutely everything. And it's, people like you that I get to interact with and learn from every day that have helped me and progress. And obviously your team is the most important aspect of that. So I think that was a challenge that I overcame, was that I don't need to know absolutely everything about running a business. It's something that, you can learn on your own. And it's something that I really wanted to build by myself without the help of anybody else, because I know I'm capable of doing that. And I really wanted to have something that was my own and didn't belong to somebody else. So I want to know from you now what your challenges were, because they may be similar, they may be different. But I want to know, what some of your challenges have been in this kind of corporate and entrepreneurship space.
So, Navya, this is such a wonderful, journey that you took us through, because I'm sure a lot of people, and there are 545 of them watching us now, feel that, Navya wouldn't have had really any challenges in life. She would have really had a very smooth journey into entrepreneurship, and that's not the case. And we do realize that challenges are there for everyone, irrespective of where you start, what's your age, and everything else. So my big challenge was that, I was moving from a very predictable and a comfortable corporate career into something that looks to me, and it is actually a fairly choppy sea, especially when you put the pandemic equation in, it becomes fairly choppy. And I was forever asking myself, what would my family say? What would my colleagues say? What if I failed? What if this whole thing was just, whole idea was just a wrong idea, and it couldn't go anywhere. But the last 15 months, Navya, we have had about 55,000 women, mostly women and men, who have joined us in the community, and across 60 different countries. So I am very confident now that all of those misgivings and the fear of failure that I had, I think all 55,000 of them have now told me that, we're doing something right. So, Navya, whatever you and I are doing, I think there's something right about it. And, we should just feel happy and confident of the way forward.
I think for sure. And I think you made a really important point about, failure. And I think that's something that everybody is worried about. And I think probably something that, prevents a lot of people from taking this path, because it is, like you said, an unpredictable path. It's one that you don't know where it's going to go. Something could be going really well today, and the next day it couldn't. And I think that it's fine. I think you should own your failures, because that's where you get the most learning. And I feel like I've learned more in the last 1 year than I have ever in my life before. And I think that obviously it's easier said than done, but I think pushing past the failure is when you really get into the experience of it. And I can't tell you about the most beautiful experience of my life, having to do this every single day. And I feel fortunate and lucky that I can do these things every day. I wake up and do something that I love. And not a lot of people could, say that, and I feel grateful that I'm being able to do that. So that's definitely, I think, one positive aspect of this. But what about one thing that you wish you knew when you started out?
I will talk about that, but that's one thing that you and I have in common. The last 15 months of my professional career have been the most incredible, the most rewarding, and I think the best ever part of my professional career. I have met so many interesting people, and we've done so much of meaningful work, created so much of impact, that I felt that this was a purpose-driven life that I was leading. And I think you and I have that very much in common. And that's the commonality that we should celebrate rather than our differences.
Yeah.
But yeah, coming back to your question about what's the one thing that I felt that I should have known, and I'll go back in my career about 25 years back when I joined the workforce before you were born, Navya, and at that time I never knew that there was this whole concept of discrimination on the basis of gender. I felt that you should differentiate people on the basis of whether they're good or bad, whether they know something or they don't, whether they run fast or whether they run slow, perhaps, but not because you have different chromosomes, not because because of gender. I got to know it much later in life when I actually went for a British Evening Scholarship program in the UK many years back. And here again, I'd like to give a shout out to my friend Purnima Shenoy, who actually held my hand throughout the journey at Aspire for Her, ever since Aspire for Her was born. And that's where I met her. That's when I realized that gender discrimination was a thing. And it didn't really matter, but beyond a certain point in time, whether you were in the corporate world, whether you were in the entrepreneurial world, there were people who would treat you differently because you were a woman. And there were certain privileges, certain opportunities that would automatically, you would get precluded from because you're a woman. And it came as a rude shock to me. One of the things why we started Aspire for Her, and I know you and I have spoken about this, is we wanted to show this preview to young women and to young men who will create those workspaces of tomorrow, the workspace of the future. So we do want to tell them that, life is not all rosy. Don't look at it with rose-tinted glasses. There is this issue. It's better that we recognize the issue and we work towards making it a non-issue eventually. So that's really my thought.
I think that's exactly why EntrepreNaaris has come together. That's exactly what we want to do. We want to encourage more women to break that barrier, that invisible barrier in my opinion, but barrier that does exist. Break it down and encourage them by really providing them with the need for building these businesses. And I think that creating this community and inspiring one another from that is something that we hope to achieve through this initiative. But I think something that everybody wants to know is what exactly is EntrepreNaaris and what is this network? Why are we coming together to build this network? What are the resources? What are the positives of being in this network? So why don't you tell us what this project is all about?
Yeah, let's try to do it together. Maybe I'll start with who we are talking to, and then we can take turns. EntrepreNaaris essentially is a beautiful English word which talks to not every entrepreneur. It talks to every woman who has an entrepreneurial mindset, who dreams of being an entrepreneur. And what we really want to build here is an entrepreneurial mindset. So everyone who has the faintest glint of a dream to become an entrepreneur, they're welcome to join EntrepreNaaris. Of course, we do want to welcome entrepreneurs as well, women entrepreneurs. We do want to welcome men who wish to support women in careers. So that's who EntrepreNaaris is all about. This is the audience that we have in mind. And we've used the Aspire for Her 5-point model to build a framework so that at EntrepreNaaris, you have everything that you need to succeed. Starting from mentors and role models, and we have so many of them all lined up, they will all come and address our audience at some point in time or the other. We are desperately struggling to create a calendar which sort of is interesting for everybody and exciting for us. From social entrepreneurship to entrepreneurship related to beauty and wellness, we've got it all. The second pillar that we're working on is resources. And, one of the common things that we found is that women entrepreneurs, especially all entrepreneurs actually, have this huge, concern before they actually go to a partner and they really figure out, oh, do I need my GST? Do I need a website developer? Do I need a registration to my company? How should I register my company? What should I do, etc.? So to build all of these resources, we have got about 25 categories of resources put together by our very wonderful Deepika Singh. And shout out to Deepika here, who's really leading EntrepreNaaris for us. You can come and find them all over here. This is just what we're starting with. I'm sure that there will be many more as we move forward. So this starts from very basic resources like legal services or social media, marketing agencies, etc., to incubators, accelerators. We'll also bring you some of them. So that's the resources piece. And Navya, over to you.
No, we have a lot of exciting people partnering with us on this, and I don't want to reveal everything just yet. We'll save some of the excitement for later, but we have a lot of interesting partners, a lot of great opportunities, and I just hope this, not just the resources, but it also is an opportunity for us to support women-led businesses. A lot of the times, and I think this is our story of how we found Anuradha and Think Not, but we really want to support other women who are running businesses, and I think that is the beauty of this community, is that we will get to know more women out there. We'll support them, and a lot of the resources that we're trying to curate as well are from women-led businesses, which is another important aspect of this. But I think I'm really excited for people to join and register and, enter the world of EntrepreNaaris, and also, get into the feel of, and like you mentioned, this is not just a network for existing entrepreneurs, but even those who, may want to start something just like you did. You woke up and you were like, I don't want to do banking anymore. I want to start my own business. And I think age is just a number. You really don't have to be young to be an entrepreneur. I mean, you're a prime example of that. You can honestly wake up and start your business any day, and I think this is exactly what that community is going to do. It's going to foster and encourage and incubate, women who can do that and who can start no matter who you are, no matter where you're from. I think this is a community for everybody, and I'm really excited for us to get started on this. But I think now that we're, done talking about EntrepreNaaris, I want to kind of mention one thing that I admire about you the most, which is that, I think even at this stage in your life and your career and your experience, you're still so curious. You're willing to learn. You're willing to do new things. You're like, this is your first Instagram live. You've managed it all on your own. You've just got Instagram. You're learning so many other things, and I think that it's really incredible. And I honestly don't feel the age difference between us, if I'm honest. I feel like I'm talking to somebody who is my age, because I think that your curiosity is what brings out this youthfulness in you. And I think it's amazing that, you want to do this for women and for young women, and that you're willing to learn every day about something new. And I think that's such an incredible lesson that I've taken away from you, and something that I really admire about you.
I am very embarrassed now, Navya. Okay.
Why? Be proud. I'm proud.
No, yeah. Let me feel good about this, because another thing that women are bad at, right?
Yeah.
If someone gives them a compliment, then they rather feel embarrassed, and they don't like to take the compliment. So I should turn that on its head, and I should feel proud of this now. Yeah. But what I admire about Navya, and I think is that, to me, exactly, when we're talking EntrepreNaaris and we're talking anything else, frankly, I don't think of her as Navya. I think of her as a very bright young person who is deeply passionate about what she does. So sometimes I just completely forget who she is. I love the fact that she's so completely down to earth and so absolutely wonderfully well behaved. I was just complimenting her mother some time back, saying, if there is one thing that I need to compliment you on, then this is the fact that you have such an amazingly well brought up daughter. So Navya, I just love spending my time with you, And I'm hoping that with EntrepreNaaris now fully underway, we will be spending more and more time, more than our weekly meetings, and we will create something truly beautiful and truly wonderful.
I'm excited, and I think, to end with this, I think that, like you said, also, it's not just a community that's for women, and I think that, women empowerment does not necessarily mean bringing men down. We're not trying to, exclude anybody. This is something that everybody needs to support each other on, women supporting men and men supporting women. And I think that this is that exact community where even men can come and see, the incredible work being done, support female-led businesses. And I think that's basically the aim and goal of this community. So I'm really excited that I got the opportunity to do this with you, to work with you on this, and with the incredible team that, we've put together between Project Naveli and Aspire for Her. And I really am excited for this to get started. So thank you for even thinking of me for, to take this forward with you. And I have absolutely no experience. I'm learning, like I said, every day. And I couldn't have thought of a better mentor and a better partner to do this with. So thank you again.
That is so sweet. And I am learning also every day. And today, not being an exception, I have done my first Instagram Live now. And I am very proud of that. I am very proud of that. But a huge shout out to our entire team, both at Project Naveli and at Aspire for Her. At Aspire for Her, we have a set of very young women who are mostly all below 21 years of age.
Yes.
And they are very passionate. They have been training me a lot about Instagram Lives and about many other things in life, about Reels and about such wonderful things.
You have one post on Instagram now. You have to up your Insta game a little bit.
I have to up my Insta game a little bit, Navya. Yes, I do.
And also,
absolutely.
We have to shout out to Anuradha from Think Not. She's done an absolutely incredible job with putting everything together, executing it, and all the amazing creatives that you're seeing on Instagram are all done by her. So thank you to her. And thank you to Deepika, who has really helped us create this, and she's going to be leading this, and she's done an awesome job. So this is a whole team's effort. This is not something that I can take credit for or that Madhura can take credit for. This is the work of our entire team, and I'm so excited to launch this finally and for everyone to see it come to life.
Absolutely, and a huge shout out to the Jaisa Gupta and all the teams that Aspire for Her who have been working very hard behind the scenes, to Purnima Shenoy, who has been holding my hand as a mentor so that I don't lose my way in this entrepreneurial journey, and Nayan Mitra, who is helping us put the impact together, and not to forget Chopra ji, who has also helped us a lot in putting together this whole structure and ensuring.
Chopra ji has Instagram, but if he does, then I hope he's watching this.
I hope so too. I told him to watch it, so I hope he is.
Okay, I hope he's watching.
Absolutely, and I can see a lot of comments from Rashmi, from Sneha, Madhavi Shapeti. Thank you very much, all of you. Priya, thank you very much. Yashasvi, thank you. I think should we say goodbye, and one last message from both of us, Navya.
I would please click on the link in the bio and sign up for EntrepreNaaris.
All right, we did it together. Okay.